Sarah, you're frozen. Let's see here. Let us see what comes of this. Here we go. This is so exciting. Okay, I believe we are live since it says redirecting. Can everybody see and let's see here. Looks like just our picture on the live. Honey, can you see it? Oh yeah. But is it just me? No, wait, that's just my earlier.
I can see you, yeah.
But what about everyone else? I don't want just me.
Are you on gallery view?
Good question. Yes. There we go. Okay, Daniel's here, Felicia's here. Sarah, do I need to change my view here? Okay, here we go. I think we're cooking with fire. A little bit. Yes?
Yes.
Some people are still connecting.
I see and hear you.
Okay, fabulous. Look at this. We're looking good. Good evening, everyone. Let me admit David. David's here. Hi, David. Okay, David can't hear us yet. And Daniel and Felicia, if you can just maybe give us a thumbs up or just a yes that you can hear us. And that would be good. Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear us? Patricia, all right. Yay. David, sweet. Mr. Flores, Mr. Flores is connecting to audio.
I hear you great.
Awesome, thank you. And Felicia, hear us?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you everyone for patience here as we get set up. And I'm just gonna wait a few more. Okay, yeah, a couple people are, oh, it's Grace, here we go. Now we're gonna have some fun. Let's mess with Grace, because that's fun.
Andiyan din si Felicia.
All right. Some people, looks like they are
Awesome, thank you.
hearing through.
And
Who's that? Who's messing with the? Let me just.
right.
Is that me?
What's that?
Okay. Okay. I'm still trying to find the. Okay, so John, you're watching the feed, correct? For any questions? All right. John wants to know what Steve wants to know what the atomic weight of hydrogen is. Guess you ignored that question. Hi, Grace.
Hi.
All right. So how's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is nowhere else you would rather be but right here, sitting in front of your computer, especially Grace and Sarah and my husband, John. All right. Sarah, can you hear if somebody rings the doorbell?
Yes, I can, and I will admit them.
All right, fantastic. So this is kind of cool. Just give it another minute here to see if anyone else joins us, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on. All right. We're going to get cooking in a second, guys. Okay. So, greetings, everyone. Thanks for joining the experiment of our Zoom meeting that we are streaming live on Facebook. Should be interesting, and we like to keep it challenging and fun around here. But we really appreciate you all joining. If you're joining us through Facebook and watching, thank you so much. And I wanted to give a brief introduction of the team members who are here on the Zoom call. Of course, there's my law partner and husband, John, who co-founded the law firm with me in year 2000. So we are celebrating our 20th year this year, 2020. And we've got Grace Martinez, she's here, and she manages client services. So if you call our office, if you come to our office, you'll probably see Grace right there up front, and she does pretty much everything for you. And I was not going to say this, but she also is a great maternal figure to all of us, not because she's the oldest, just because she's such a nurturing, lovely person. And if you come to our office, or if you call, you'll see that. And then Sarah is here, and Sarah is immigration attorney. She's also the managing attorney. So she manages all the workflow, quality control, all the stuff that makes the legal work look good to immigration service and hopefully get approved. So that is our team today. And a couple of housekeeping things. You are on camera, and your beautiful faces and voices are being streamed to Facebook right now. And we are also going to cross-post this video to all of our social media channels. So if you're not cool with that and don't give consent to that, we will part ways now, give you a virtual hug, and perhaps have a private conversation later if you like. But if you're not comfortable with the format, that's okay. We understand. And finally, my lawyer told me to say that this video and this Zoom and this live stream is for educational purposes only and not legal advice, even though I am a lawyer and also play one on Facebook too. So this is just for your educational purposes and not legal advice. So today we're going to go over some of the questions that you may have, and it's a small group right now. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and about what we're talking about, just go ahead and ask the question, and just, you know, if there's a good place to interrupt, or just interrupt me. It's fine. We're having a 100% conversational experience here, and nothing formal. So the things that we are going to try to cover today, and there's a lot of material, and it's already 6:38. We're going to cover secret marriage. We're going to cover the mysterious automatic annulment. We're going to cover the Child Status Protection Act, aunties and uncles dealing with the National Visa Center, fiance visas, difficult to obtain B1, B2 visas out of the U.S. Embassy in Manila, adoptions of nephews and nieces and other family members, the U.S. Embassy in Manila and its high fraud alert. And we are going to try to hit humanitarian reinstatement and the visa bulletin. Well, the visa bulletin we're not, because that is a huge topic, and we'll probably do another session on that, even though I promised in an earlier video that I was going to try to tackle it. But try to do that with John today, and his eyes rolled over, and I actually had to give him life support because it was so dull and so boring, and I started throwing dates at him, and it just wasn't a good experience. So I'm going to try to figure that out with more graphics, and just so you all can actually see it instead of me talking about it. But we will try to cover humanitarian reinstatement if the time permits. So Mr. Let's see here, Mr. Flores, how are you today?
All right, I'm fine. Thank you. About yourself?
I'm excellent. Thank you. So since you sent a question in beforehand, we're going to answer your question first. Do you mind if I read it?
Sure, no problem. Go
Okay.
ahead.
You guys are great. Just team players here. Really appreciate that. So the question is, I have a question about how to bring help over from the Philippines at this time. My wife and I are retired military and aged almost 80 years old, and are taking care of our son who had a stroke 2 years ago at age 40. This situation will become more difficult for us if we do not have 24/7 assistance, and we want to know the possibility of bringing over a family member from the Philippines to help us temporarily care for our son. So that is a question that we do get a lot of that question, and we're sorry to hear about your son. And I can only imagine how difficult that must be for you and your wife to have to care for him right now. Yeah. But there are just a couple of options here from the way I'm looking at this, and Sarah, jump in if you have any other thoughts on this. But the first option is you can apply for, well, that person can apply for the family member can apply for a tourist visa for a temporary visit to the United States to help you care for your son. The issue with that, however, and I was going to discuss this a little bit later, is, what is the plan for that family member to return back to the United States? Back to the Philippines. What is the intent? So that's going to play a really big role in when your family member goes and applies for the tourist visa and they say, okay, what's the purpose of your visit? Well, the purpose of my visit is to help my uncle or aunt with their son who is, currently disabled and they're elderly. And my purpose is to help them. Well, probably 6 months, which is what that family member would get if they were granted that tourist visa, is not going to be enough. Am I correct in saying that?
Oh, like
Enough
I
time?
said, temporary, and you never know what's going to happen after 6 months.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think that if you're thinking, yeah, that would be super helpful if my family member came in for 6 months to assist. That would be very helpful until maybe we found someone that's more permanent, someone who is here in the United States. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I've been reading the immigration law about the H-2B visa and all that stuff. And is it true that if you are a tourist, you are not allowed to be compensated here in this place? Like, of course, if she says she's going to help us, you have to compensate them, either way. But how can she not get in trouble for getting compensation? Because it's like she will be working here, even if she's,
Right.
and if not possible, I don't want to get in trouble about legal matters on the immigration because, like I said, we can easily get in trouble and, the consequences is kind of harsh.
Yes, absolutely. So you are correct to be concerned about that, because if an applicant comes to the United States on a tourist visa on a B1, B2, then they cannot work and they really can't even receive any type of compensation, remuneration for anything that they do. So if it even looks like you're paying the person in food, room and board, a trip somewhere, then that would be impermissible. So the H-2B would not apply here. That's typically for seasonal workers. And then the B1, B2 it doesn't sound like it's going to be a satisfactory solution for you because of the fact that this person is actually going to be working and you're going to be compensating this person. The other option, which is also not the best option, only because of the time frame that we're talking about here. And the other option is to actually file what's called a labor certification for the family member, or it's also called PERM. And with that, you are essentially telling initially the Department of Labor that, hey, I can't find anyone to take care of my son. I put out advertisement. In this case, we would do 2 Sunday advertisements and then 30 days in the Virginia Employment Commission advertising this position to any US willing worker. And so if you did that, then you would go through that whole process of, petitioning for this family member. Okay, and the fact that the person is a family member is a problem in and of itself potentially, and so it's a very long process, and I just pulled up the visa bulletin while I was preparing for this, but I did not look at third preference category. I believe they're processing cases that were filed in 2017. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I have it
So-
in front of me.
All right. So what that means is if you did file a perm and you filed a labor certification, this person would not be able to be in the United States potentially until a visa became available. And right now, the visa is in that third preference category. It's at 3 years. It's taking 3 years for the Philippines. So, right. So unfortunately, I wish I had a solution for you where you could bring a family member over here to someone that you trust to help take care of your son, but there's just no easy way to do that. But that's a great question. It's one that we get pretty often, and I appreciate the question. I appreciate that you sent it in.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, you're
I-
very welcome.
Still searching it, and then I'm thinking about, I know that one of the reason H-2B visa is not considered for Filipino citizens in Philippines because of the rampant trafficking, human trafficking, and all that stuff. That's the reason. But I'm asking a favor, like I'd like to write them and tell them to send a waiver, maybe at least, considering our age, taking care of this. I don't know if they will even consider that, but I will still do something about pursuing my desire to at least get a help temporarily from Philippines, because as the day grows, I mean, we are aged, and there's no way that we can take care of our son because we are already old, and so I will still pursue. I'll make I'll write the politicians maybe, and I know that H-2B visa or whatever the third preference that you're talking about, I haven't seen that, but I will not stop until maybe one day we will get it. You never know.
Well, thanks for asking the question. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can just send us an email again to the info box. And we appreciate you joining. And hopefully you'll stay on for other exciting Filipino issues. You know what? I'm going to jump to one of the issues, one of the things that we listed, and that is that the National Visa Center right now is pretty much all via the internet, through email, uploading documents, paying your National Visa Center fees online. And Mr. Flores here is almost 80. He's able to shoot us an email, hop on the Zoom call, and here we are, Facebook Live. And so it is possible, obviously, if you're a little bit older and you think that, hey, I can't tackle this technology. But I will say that one of the, somebody sent me a message through Messenger, and she said, hey, Radlin, I filled out the affidavit of support for my sister. And I'm going to send her the affidavit of support so she can bring it to her interview at the embassy in Manila whenever they open up. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. And so did you send all that to the National Visa Center? Did you upload the documents? Did you upload your tax returns? Did you, give them all the information through the National Visa Center first? And are you just sending her a copy so that she has a copy? And she said, no, this is what she's going to bring to the embassy because I know that they're going to ask for this affidavit of support. Well, the fact of the matter is that, sister is not going to get to an interview unless the petitioner, the U.S. citizen sibling, uploads all those documents and fulfills all of the National Visa Center requirements. And you can't mail anything in anymore unless they specifically ask you to mail something in. So that's one of the points that we wanted to make today, is that a lot of the people who are doing these cases and they're becoming current, their priority dates are becoming current. They may not know how to deal with a National Visa Center. And that's a problem, and that's going to cause delays in cases. It's going to cause a lot of frustration. So that's something to note. So if you're out there and you know that, you know, maybe your mom or your dad is petitioning for their sibling in the Philippines, just know that you're going to, unless they hire an attorney, you're going to have to hop on there and help them navigate all of that, paying the fees and uploading all of those documents. Sarah, did I miss anything about that?
No, I don't think so. Other than that the system is super glitchy, and have a lot of patience when you do it.
Yes, we when you hear cuss words out of the back room, then you know that something just timed out, and all of the work that we did completing the State Department form, the DS-260, just disappeared. And it does take a lot of patience, and there are a lot of timing out of the system. So very good point. Yep. Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any questions about what we've talked about so far? Nope. Okay.
Not what we've talked about, but we do have a question that came through our Facebook Live, which somebody wanted to know how long waivers are taking.
How long are waivers taking? Are we talking about the question?
It wasn't more specific than that.
Okay, Sarah, you could probably speak to this. There's the stateside waiver, there's 601A, and then just a typical waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
So-
It's taken a long time.
Yeah. It's a little less common to see stateside waivers for Filipinos, just because that generally means you came in unlawfully. It's a little harder to get here from the Philippines without a visa.
I think that we filed the first and only 601A waiver through Manila. Sarah did, and it was successful.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the more common
Good job.
one is the 601 waiver, which is for if you've gone to your interview in Manila and the officer said, we can't give you this visa, you're inadmissible to the United States for one of a long list of reasons, and but you do have a waiver available for you because you have a qualifying family member that makes you eligible for this waiver. And those are taking a long time. Official processing times are about 12 to 14 months right now. Obviously, with COVID-19, that could extend even longer. That is the official processing time.
Sarah does waivers pretty much not all day long, but all month long. Is that is that safe to say? And we're awesome at waivers. Sarah's awesome at waivers.
We're all good.
The team is awesome at waivers. Sarah is really good at managing the waiver process. All right. Thank you, Facebook, for that question. Awesome. All right. So the other thing we want to talk about today, the secret marriage. Does anyone here know what secret marriage is? Okay, this is not a test. Sorry. John knows what the secret marriage is. You want to talk about the secret marriage? John and I are secretly married. No. Basically, a secret marriage is the common scenario is, say, the lawful permanent resident parent. Okay, they come to the United States. They petition for their unmarried son or daughter over the age of 21. And that category takes a long time. Okay, it's taken about 9 years right now. So if you're petitioning for your 22-year-old, okay, and it takes 9 years for that to become current, then that 22-year-old is going to be 31 years old one day, right? And sometimes, a lot of the times, the son or the daughter is in a relationship, and the son or daughter will go to their immigrant visa and say, yep, I'm still single. And then they are issued the immigrant visa. And then before they come to the United States, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, the sweethearts, they decide to have a secret marriage. And he or she comes to the United States, and they enter the United States, and they're actually not as a single son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident, but as a married son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident. The problem with that is that there is no category for the married son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident, and you can't do that. So there is a waiver for this, and it's actually called the Filipino waiver by some attorneys. Our of counsel partner Jim Tom Haynes, he calls it the Filipino waiver because it's so common, this secret marriage that pops up in people's immigration cases down the road. So instead of doing what this couple did and what so many couples do, instead of having that secret marriage, what the person has to do is immigrate to the United States as the unmarried son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident, make an entry into the United States. It's going to cost a little bit more money, leave the United States, go back to the Philippines and get married, and then come back and file the I-130 petition for your spouse. So that's an issue. How I just described it, what you should do instead is it's nice, clean, it's legal. It doesn't lead to a very lengthy and costly deportation hearing or removal hearing in front of the immigration judge. And we just don't want to have this issue anymore in the Filipino community. Let's just get rid of secret marriage and just hold off another 6 months. Come to the United States, go back. I know it's a trip. I know it's $1,500, $2,000 airfare, but the deportation costs you a lot more than that. All right, so just avoid that. Then we have, I'm just segue right into the mysterious automatic annulment. This is a thing that we hear about a lot in our office. And the most common scenario when this comes up is when an applicant is applying for a green card based on marriage to a US citizen. And she says, oh yes, I was married before in the Philippines, but we were separated for so long that it's null and void now. So there's this assumption in the Filipino cases that we've worked on that if you've been separated for a period of time, a year, then that marriage is null and void automatically. As you guys may know, there is no divorce in the Philippines. There's only an annulment, and that's a very lengthy, costly process that no one really wants to go through. And those separations do not automatically turn into an annulment or a legal termination / divorce of your marriage. So what we advise our clients to do is to get a divorce here in the United States. And yes, you can get a divorce in the United States. You don't have to go through that lengthy annulment process in the Philippines. The US divorce is fine, and then get married to the US citizen spouse. All right. Anybody have any questions so far? John, any questions on the Facebook? Nope. Okay. All right. So this can also come up. This issue can also come up when you apply for US citizenship and you go all the way through the process of getting your green card through your US citizen spouse, and maybe you get the 2-year card, then you go through the process of getting your 10-year card, and then you apply for citizenship, and then it comes out that you were married before and it was never terminated before your marriage to your US citizen spouse, through which you received your green card. So what does that mean? What happens? I say ouch here in my notes. Owie, that hurts. And what happens is it results in that applicant for US citizenship in being put in removal proceedings to take away the green card and take away the status. So the way that we fix this is we get a divorce, remarry the US citizen spouse, and refile for the green card. So you basically just have to go from scratch and then potentially be in deportation proceedings as well. So don't do that. If you get the divorce beforehand, there is no such thing as an automatic annulment, an automatic null and void marriage after 1 year of separation. I wanted to also make a special note that our local office in Norfolk is referring cases to the fraud unit, the fraud detection unit of their office 3 times as much as they were referring last year. 3 times. Sarah, am I right about the 3 times, or was it 6 times? It's 3, right? Yeah. So that number made my eyebrows raise, because I wasn't able to ask the follow-up question when that statistic was told to us. But the question is why? Why are they referring 3 times as many cases? There's stuff going on. They're really just digging much deeper. They're digging into divorces. Was that divorce an actual real divorce? They're digging into prior relationships. They're digging into relationships that may have been real marriages. So just be careful with that. It does come up a lot within the Filipino community. All right, I'm going to quickly touch on this third point here, the Child Status Protection Act and the opt-out provision. This is not really an issue right now as much, because we don't have to opt out of the category. Hi, Ray. Do you want to say hi to the Zoom meeting and the Facebook Live? 9-year-old is creeping up the stairs here. All right. So the Child Status Protection Act and the opt-out provision. Basically, if a lawful permanent resident parent applies for their unmarried son or daughter, and then that lawful permanent resident parent wants to eventually apply for citizenship, sometimes that puts their child's petition in a category with a longer waiting period. And so with the Child Status Protection Act, they said, hey, that doesn't seem fair. And so we're going to allow, if that happens, we're going to allow that child to opt out of that category. We're going to allow them to stay in the category that has faster processing. Right now, they're just about the same, maybe a couple of months apart. So it's not an issue right now, but it definitely has been an issue where the F2B category, which is the unmarried son or daughter of a lawful permanent resident, was way faster than the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. So that's that. And then any questions about that? Some of you guys are on here. Do you guys have specific questions? Because if you do, pop them in the chat, or you can just unmute, because this is supposed to be like a conversation, and I'm just like, I need a glass of water right now.
I had a question, Radlin.
Yes, Don.
Why do you think it's taken a lot longer now, going back to the previous statement you were making? Why do you think it's taken a lot longer now than it used to get people in?
With regard to the visa categories, or
Well,
just
what we were just talking about right before now, you said it used to take a certain amount of time, but now it takes longer, a lot longer. And I was just curious why.
Yeah, depending on the actual facts of the case. Right now, if your case is referred to a fraud unit, for example, it's probably going to add, what would we say, a year to your case, right, Sarah? I mean, it's going to derail your case for a good year, maybe even a year and a half, if there's a potential fraud issue there. And then with regard to the visa bulletin, again, that's going to be like a 5-part series webinar coming soon. It's going to be like the History Channel.
That's okay. And you said they were digging deeper, so.
Yeah, and with the visa bulletin, the Philippines has traditionally had some of the longer waiting periods, and it's basically because the country, there are more immigrants coming to the United States from the Philippines than a lot of the other countries, and so it's an oversubscribed category, and so the Philippines have always traditionally had really long waiting periods. But there are many reasons things are taking that going back to our current events right now. That's going to add even more time onto the process, and there are just more interviews as well. They're interviewing more different categories of cases, and so there are many reasons for things taking a lot longer now. But you know, we had a really fun period of time. Sarah, you were practicing 5 years ago, where cases were taking like marriage cases taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Remember those days? That was amazing. That was incredible. And when I started practicing law, which was in January 98, December 99, marriage cases were taking 18 months. And sometimes by the time we got to the marriage case, that couple was divorced. It was ugly. So hopefully it doesn't go back to those time periods. We're not seeing that type of time frame for a marriage case to take that long. But they have been longer, and they have definitely been shorter. And hopefully we get kind of back to the middle ground. And I kind of expect that with the COVID-19. The good news, though, is that because the local office and the local offices around the country have not been doing in-person interviews, they have completely caught up on their backlog. So how awesome is that, right? Silver lining playbook. It's great news, and we've seen some of the the requests and some of the approvals, and so we're excited that they have caught up on their backlog. I predicted they're going to just hit the ground running when they open back up, and I don't think there's going to be too much of a delay. Don't bet me on that, though.
Okay, thank you, Red.
Yeah, sure. Good question, though. All right, so we already covered the aunties and uncles dealing with the National Visa Center. Again, it's all electronic, but as Mr. Flores was here, he's in his 80s, he's able to navigate, but not everyone is. And I will say, Grace, you're laughing. Grace sometimes complains about the technology, maybe, but I will say that, clicking a Zoom link and uploading documents and completing the DS-260 on CX system, totally different, right? Right, Sarah?
Way different.
Yeah, I don't even think they're comparable, really, but
Like megabyte limits.
yeah.
If you even know what that is. I didn't know what a megabyte was, but I learned it.
Right, and so we also have to learn how to reduce document size, and what is it? It's not compact, it's called
Is it zip? No. How do you do those?
whatever.
Compress.
Depress. Thank you. I knew it was
Compress.
something like that. Some geeky computer terminology. All right, so fiancé visas. The U.S. Embassy in Manila, they process the most fiancé visas in the world. And it's because we have the most beautiful women. No one thought that was funny? I'm Filipino. John agrees. All right. So what do you want to say about, so it's very, very busy, the fiancé visas coming out of, all right, Daniel gives a thumbs up. How do you even do that? That's sweet. He knows. The one thing I wanted to mention here is that on top of the interview that the applicant is going to have at the U.S. Embassy in Manila, they're also going to have the pre-departure orientation seminar with the Commission on Filipino Overseas. That was established in June 1980. And I'm reading right now, but it's an agency of the Philippine government under the office of the president, tasked to promote and uphold the interests, rights, and welfare of overseas Filipinos and strengthen their ties with the motherland. So there is that, I call it the exit interview. It's one more interview that the applicant has to go through. And for many years, we've been doing fiancé visas since we started the law firm in 2000, and no one really mentioned that exit interview. And then I got a call from one of my clients. It's actually the applicant's husband. He said, Bradley, this exit interview that the CFO gives, it was the worst thing ever. It was harder than the interview at the embassy. why didn't you warn us that it was going to be so terrible? It's like, I didn't know. So I think it has the potential to be pretty intense. So we do prepare our clients for the embassy's interview, and I think we give a pretty tough interview preparation. And I believe that it will also prepare the client for the CFO interview, but that's something to be mindful of. So once you get that immigrant visa, don't celebrate right at that moment. You know, you got to go through another interview. And I think most Filipinos who are coming to the United States or leaving the country, they know that, they're aware of it. All right. So the other point that we wanted to make that is that, as I was telling Mr. Flores, it's difficult to get the B1, B2 tourist visa, especially difficult in Manila. Manila is a high fraud post, so that's another issue. Okay, so they're on high fraud alert all the time because they find a lot of fraud from the applicants that go through Manila. And so basically, they are no longer accepting the letter of invitation, and they're no longer accepting the affidavit of support, the I-134, for that B1, B2 applicant to give to the consular officer. So that's the point that I wanted to make there. That applicant needs to walk the walk and talk the talk that they are going to the United States for a short visit. They've got the financial resources to do it, and they're definitely coming back to the Philippines after their short visit and not overstaying. So it's difficult. We do see a lot of denials. Unfortunately, there's very little that we can do on our end as far as processing. We can if someone is having difficulty with the system, then we can help with that. But as far as actually, you know, in favor, like, can having an attorney help me get this B1, B2 a little bit easier? The answer is absolutely not. It's not going to happen. And the B1, B2 typically comes up in the context of, hey, you know, my girlfriend, I really want her to come see the United States. Can I get her the B1, B2 tourist visa? And usually the answer is going to be no. That's going to get denied. And if it does get denied, and then you do a fiance visa petition later, please make sure you put that denial on the DS-160. So that's my $1 million money tip. Put any denials on any application and be completely truthful on all applications. Not that I have to tell you that, but sometimes, you know, our idea of truth as immigration attorneys is different from our client's idea of truth. So we go through this application really, really carefully, and we make sure that we cover all of the bases. So the next topic that I wanted to cover for Filipino immigration issues is the adoption of nephews or nieces or other family members. Here's my other $1 million tip. Please do not do this alone. This is a mess. This can potentially be a mess. And we do have a lot of family members who want to go and adopt a nephew or a niece to help them out, to allow them to have a better life here in the United States. That's completely understandable. But the thing that a lot of people don't know is that you have to have 2 years of legal and physical custody and obtain a full and final adoption of the child to be eligible to file and petition for that child as your own child. So what that means is that you have to physically be living with that child. How are you going to do that if you're living in the United States? So a lot of our clients who have done this process, they've done it over a long period of many years, because it doesn't have to be a continuous period of time. You can accrue that in different chunks when you take trips back home to the Philippines. So say you spend the Christmas there, you spend 2 months there, and then you spend 3 months in the summer. So that's 5 months. And it does take a long time to get these numbers. And it has to be really, 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 really super well documented. Did I say really well documented? You've got to document it like I don't know, an analogy. Somebody help me out here. Dot your I's and cross your T's, and on steroids. You've got to really document that. So that's something that pops up in our office quite a bit, that question. And just know that there are a lot of extra steps in order to do that. The hardest part being the fact that one of the parents, either of the parents, who's a U.S. citizen parent, has to go in and actually physically live with that child, as well as care for that child emotionally and financially support that child. And a lot of times the biological parent of that child can't be, well, not a lot of times, they can't be around. They can't be involved in the child's life. So it has to be a real valid adoption where you are caring for that child solely. And that child is not living with the biological parent while you're back in the United States. And then you go and take care of that child when you're there for a summer break. It's got to be 100% of the time with regard to the care of that child. The biological parent cannot be there. All right. I think any questions? I need a seltzer water.
I think we have some Facebook questions.
Do we?
Yeah.
I'm
One
gonna
from
sit
David
back.
here.
Hi, Radley. This is Olga.
Hi.
My question is about the religious visa.
Okay.
Do you have any updates?
Any updates generally, or?
Generally, yeah.
Generally for religious visas are still moving forward. One of the things that we are trying to just tell to the community, that even though we have this executive order that's banning a lot of the, banning the immigrant visa process, it really has no effect on what's happening in the country as far as filings are concerned. So we're all full steam ahead with religious visas, R1s, and processing times maybe will take a little bit longer because of the fact that people may have been out of work at the service centers that are processing, and perhaps it may take a little bit longer. The other thing is they could potentially be backlogged on their site visits, and that could cause delays. But as far as filing and processing, it's still happening. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Pilot. All right.
I think piggybacking off of that, we can go ahead and answer David's question here about the timelines for the adjustment of status interviews.
Okay.
I think same thing. We haven't got an official update on will there be increased processing times, but as we know, people are not working full time, reduced capacity. Most likely, yes, there's going to be a delay in processing times. Plus, we got a big backlog of people that need to be interviewed still that haven't been able to be interviewed. So official processing times are the same, but in practice, I would say, yeah, we're going to see a little bit of a delay.
Yep. There's going to be that. And unofficially, the local immigration office here, they are starting interviews back on June 15th. I believe that's a Monday. And so hopefully they're able, I know that they're going to be practicing social distancing and making sure that everyone has masks. And so I'm not sure what that's going to look like as far as all people in the building, and whether people are going to have to stagger their appointments and whether they can only do a certain amount of interviews per day. We're going to learn more about that. Is it June 4th, Sarah, that we're having a meeting? June 4th. And Sarah and I, and probably Grace too, and maybe John, we'll be back. We'll be back to tell you what happened at that meeting and what was said. Yeah.
Okay, we have another question from Facebook, taking you in a slightly different direction. Somebody wants to know, they said that their dad became a citizen before she was 18, and she wants to know if that makes her a citizen automatically.
Depends on how old she is. And her date, well, wait a minute, she's 18. Wait, how old is she? Sorry. Was I listening to that question? I don't think I was listening. You know what I was thinking? I was like, oh, Sarah's got this. She just didn't
I
get
got
to this. Go
I'm
ahead.
done.
I'm gonna sit
Well,
back. See how
yeah, I
far
got
I'm
you.
sitting up in my chair? I'm sitting back now.
Have the water. This does depend on a lot of different things, though. I mean, what's your current status? How old were you? Well, you have before your dad was 18. Is were your parents married when you were? There's a lot of different factors. So depending on, are you here as a lawful permanent resident residing with your dad? Is your dad on your birth certificate? So it's definitely case by case. There's lots of fun charts to determine this, whether or not you acquired citizenship. And it definitely matters when you were born as well. You might be, maybe your dad got citizenship when you were under 18, but if you're 75 right now, it's a different story than if you are still 19. So definitely case by case, and it's worth reaching out, I think, a little more privately about to get some more detailed facts.
Yeah, good point. The acquiring and deriving U.S. citizenship from U.S. citizen parents or naturalized parents, it's like the tax code.
A lot of
See,
different factors.
yeah, we got into immigration law because we wanted to be challenged every single minute of our working lives. We're just embracing that challenge. That's a great question, though, and it comes up quite a bit. Any other Facebook questions? Okay, awesome.
I think we did. Wait, I see one.
Oh.
I think I'm like less delayed than you, John. I think. Sorry, I'm just stealing your thunder. And it's a good one.
Oh,
And
it's
it
a
is-
good question. All right, I'm
Yes,
sitting up
yes.
again.
All right, ready, Radlin? My
Yeah,
husband,
okay.
my husband wants to apply for U.S. citizenship. Is now a bad time to submit the application?
Now is an awesome time to submit the application. Whoever wrote this question in, thank you so much for asking this question. Was this a planted question? Who planted this question?
This is
Did I plant
Teresa
this question?
Vicente.
I'm just kidding. The reason I'm teasing about this is because we have been saying this for the past 66 days, and that is you need to file now. Some people are emailing us or reaching out to us like, oh yeah, the executive order is it's for 6 months. I'm not going to do anything with my citizenship. It's like, no, don't do that. It is nothing to do with what is happening with regard to filing citizenship, with regard to filing pretty much all cases right now. So now is a great time to file your citizenship. It's going to be better than next week. It's going to be better than 2 weeks. It's going to be way better than 3 months from now, because you're going to get behind the people who are starting to wake up and starting to say, okay, we're able to go to the beaches now. We're able to go to the restaurants. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to file my N400 now, because I've been sitting on that application for so long, and then this COVID and I'm ready to do it. And just times that by, I don't know, 100,000 people. So do you want to get in front of 100,000 people, or do you want to get behind them? Yes, let's cheer. File it now. It's long story long. It's a good time to file now, and you really should. So, because I think the processing times are just going to get longer and longer with everything goes on. I mean, because we may have a second wave, right? And then there could be another shutdown. At least your case is, again, going through the system. And USCIS they have numbers to hit. They want to process their cases. They want to look good on paper. They want to look good to whoever they need to look good for, and they want to process and they want to show great numbers. So if you're in the 757, our office is great. They are sometimes so good that they get the work of other offices, and now is a really great time to file. I wasn't not clear about that, right? Oh my gosh, you're the best. Thank you. Were you giving me a cup of water too? Oh, Mia was also bringing me a cup of water. Ray brought me a cup of water. My kids are the best. Thank you. This is a Guinness cup. It has no Guinness in it. It's just water. I like Marco Rubio taking a sip of water. Are you guys going to judge me? All right. The last thing, you guys are all on mute. You're not talking with me. You're not laughing with me. I mean, unmute all these people, Sarah.
That was a
Okay, I
sympathy swing.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you guys unmute. You want to be muted. You're good. All right. The last thing that I want to cover is, and Marion, I'll check that out. It was there and then it popped away. If you guys want to check that question. Oh wait, hold on a second. Marion, do you want? Can I read this out loud? Good question. I'm sorry, you're muted. Let me know if I can give me a thumbs up if I can read it out loud.
How do I do that? I'm not sure how to do that.
Oh, I can hear
You're
you.
unmuted. Good to
Oh,
go.
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to do it. I love my brand new daughter-in-law, my Filipino daughter-in-law. And yay, I'm going to be a grandma, but we're not sure if she doesn't have her green card by the time the baby's born in November, will the baby be a full US citizen or not?
You guys have to bring the baby to my house and I have to care for the baby. That's,
No, my baby.
is it going to be a girl?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. Because we'll take I was take a boy or a girl. John
As
loves,
long as it's human, we don't care.
yeah. So yes, the child will be a US long.
Thank you.
I'm not going to go. Should I go on and on about that like I do? No. I don't see. The good thing is we charge flat fees, do not charge for every word that Radlin says. That's the good news. Yeah, so if the child is born here, as of this very moment in time, child is a US citizen. Could that change? Could change. It could change.
Okay.
It's been tossed around out there, but yeah, she'll be fine. She'll be good. But we do
Okay,
need to take
yeah.
care of that. Okay, yeah, we are. So anyway. All right, I am going to just briefly talk about humanitarian reinstatement. Did I talk about this yet? No. Humanitarian reinstatement is a big Filipino issue. And the reason is because of the long waiting periods that Filipinos have to go through because of the backlogged visa bulletin and the oversubscribed numbers on the visa bulletin. So essentially what humanitarian reinstatement is all about, and again, almost all of the humanitarian reinstatement cases we've done have been Filipino cases with the exception of one or two, I believe. And basically what happens is the parent becomes a US citizen and the parent petitions for the son or daughter, the married son or daughter, that would fall under the married son or daughter category of a US citizen. And that includes the spouse of that son or daughter, includes the children under 21 and potentially children over 21, depending on the Child Status Protection Act and that calculation. So you could really be talking about a big, large family that this U.S. citizen parent has petitioned for. You know, the daughter, son or daughter, their spouse, and then their children. Okay, makes sense. But what happens is because this category is taking so long, Sarah, do you have the visa bulletin up? Like, what is it taking right now?
Let me get
20
back up
years?
to- Probably. All right, so we're looking at the married sons of U.S. citizens, married
Yep.
sons and daughters of U.S. citizens.
Yep.
F3, we're processing applications that were received November 15th, 2000. So 20
Okay.
years.
So yeah, so 21 years, right? And what happens, unfortunately, is that the parent passes away. And so the question is, can we do anything about this? And can this case still continue? Can we still process the cases of family members? Like the typical story is, all of our family members are here. Every single one of my siblings are here. And because this sibling got married, they got placed into this very long waiting category. And they were waiting for to be reunited with the rest of us. And so if the petition, the I-130 petition, was approved prior to that parent passing away, then there is the possibility of humanitarian reinstatement. And what that entails is there has to be a substitute sponsor. Typically, it's going to be a sibling or a parent. And I believe those are the only family members that are eligible to step into the shoes of the petitioner. And they also have to sign the affidavit of support. Now we've got the new public charge rule form, the I-944. So they would also be, the beneficiaries would also be completing that. And so the case can be salvaged. But the big thing about humanitarian reinstatement that I want to talk about is that it takes a really long time. It just does. Sometimes the visa is not yet current. And then sometimes it's a matter of really pushing the case. Sometimes a case comes back to us. There's no form for this. There's no form to apply for humanitarian reinstatement. And we send everything off to a service center, or even if we send it off to Norfolk, sometimes it gets lost. Like, oh, we never got that. And because there's no form to track it and there's no fee to track it, it often gets lost. And it can take years for it to go through that process. And we oftentimes have to ask for congressional liaison help with these cases. And right now, we recently got, just something from the National Visa Center stating that we're not processing these cases right now. This is a low priority for us, and we're not doing that. Is that pretty much what the letter said, Sarah?
Yeah, basically because of COVID, the NVC is only focusing on the cases are regularly processing, and then emergency-based cases and humanitarian reinstatement does not fall into either of those categories, unfortunately. So they're kind of like on the back burner. We're not dealing with that right now.
Right. And again, this is about reuniting families and also sort of trying to take care of a parent. Sometimes it's the last dying wish, right? Please make sure that your sister is able to come to the United States. So it's heartbreaking, and it's extremely, extremely rewarding when we actually get the job done. But it's a grind. It's a total grind. And if you don't like us, or if we love everyone, but if you don't love us and we don't love you, it's going to be a long several years, in going through this process, because again, sometimes the visa is not even current. So humanitarian reinstatement, if you think that you may have these facts, then there is the potential that it can be salvaged. And then there's also, different scenarios. Like, for example, if the petitioner dies and then the beneficiary is actually here in the United States, those are different set of facts. So let us know if you have any questions about that. They are very challenging but rewarding cases, and some of the most rewarding cases that I've worked on anyway. All right. I think that is a wrap on all of the points that I wanted to make about issues that are common in the Philippine community. So if there are any other questions, doesn't look like it.
Now, we had one question at the very beginning.
Okay.
We had one question about the atomic weight of hydrogen.
Okay. What is that?
It's 1.008, making it the lightest element in the periodic table.
All right. That is fantastic. See, I've learned so much every single day. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you coming on. And Naomi, thank you so much for sharing the invitation with the chamber. And we shall definitely do it again. It was fun, but I need y'all to talk a little bit more, so I'm not talking. Thank you, Sarah, for helping out with some of the questions. Thanks, Grace, for being here, and John as well with the questions. And all of you guys, I really appreciate it. I had a good time. If you have any questions, just you guys can give us a call at the office. It's 757-464-9224, or you can shoot us an email at info@gmlaw.net. And finally, you can shoot us a message through Messenger, of course. So if you want to continue to receive our content, we'd love it if you liked our page, if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you next time. All right. Peace
Thank
out.
you, Madeline. Good presentation.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Everybody.
Thank you for
Have
joining.
a great
Night.
evening, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.